guys, welcome back to another episode of the Kraken Cans Cast. Where we talk all things cryptids, all things urban legends, and all things spooky.
Spooky.
I am Corey with an E, and over here to my right is Mike
With a C.
with a C.
Yep. Don't you forget it.
And tonight we got, I don't know what episode we got tonight because Mike did this one and he doesn't really give me too much of a heads up. So
We're talking about people with no faces.
people with no faces.
Faceless people. Yeah.
It's women, right?
Sometimes.
Because I always like a woman with no face.
Okay. All right.
Because then, you know, that's
Why?
you don't get bitched at because they can't talk. They have no
Okay.
face.
Okay.
Can't get bitched at. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I don't know if that's totally how it works, though.
They can't see.
Well, you can't just do whatever you want. There's still laws in place to protect people like this, Corey. For the love of God. Just because somebody's blind doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want with them. You sick pervert. My gosh.
I mean, if they're into it.
Well, then they'd be. Oh man, this is already
All right,
taking.
we're just
This is taking a turn.
go ahead. So we got the faceless people tonight.
Yeah, Faceless Woman of Tokyo.
You know what else we got tonight?
What else we got tonight?
We got our new hats on our
We
heads.
got our new hats on. Yeah, they're pretty sick.
They're fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to check out our hats, go over to our Facebook, Kraken Cans Cast, because we got a couple pictures of them and stuff like that. And if we get enough interest in them, we might put them where you can buy them. Not totally sure how we're going to figure that out yet, but we might.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. You reach out to us, send us an email if you're interested in these hats at krakencanscast@gmail.com.
You reach out now, we'll give you a 10% coupon if you just type in Kraken.
That's all you have to email us. Just email us Kraken for your 10% coupon on nothing, because we sell nothing. You get 10% on a free podcast. Oh man, we're off the rail right now.
This is gonna be a ride.
It is
folks.
gonna be a ride. So we'll get into the beer though tonight. I brought a heavy hitter because this thing is probably in my top 5, top 10 list for my favorite IPAs that I brought tonight.
It might have bumped into my top 10 just by the first sip.
Yeah, it's really good. So the beer we got tonight is from Fatheads Brewing Company, and it's Headhunter. This is like their main IPA, their number one. I think this is their number one seller. Like Corey said, it's very similar to Trogue's Perpetual. So as far as the brewery goes, Fathead Brewing is a renowned craft brewery based in Ohio, celebrated for its bold, hop-forward beers and diverse range of styles. And they like to do a lot of different IPAs. That seems like that's like they get their jollies off on that, and I couldn't be more happy. So the brewery's journey began in 1992 with the opening of Fathead's Saloon in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it wasn't until 2009 brewmaster Matt Cole partnered with Glenn Benigni, could be bombing your name, sorry Glenny, to establish Fathead's Brewery and Saloon in Ohio. The brewery quickly gained acclaim, leading to the opening of a full-scale production facility in Middleburg Heights, Ohio in 2012. I remember watching a YouTube video. Their facility's pretty freaking awesome.
Like similar like Trogues, like that scale?
I don't think not quite that big, but it's like not too far off either. But it's the type of people you want working in a brewery. There's a lot of hipsters walking around that place. A lot of tattoos, spiky hair, earrings, piercings. I'm in. She's got tattoos and So Headhunter is an award-winning, aggressively dry-hopped American-style IPA with a huge hop display of pine, grapefruit, citrus, and pineapple. A punch-you-in-the-mouth brew for those who truly love their hops. And I think it's fitting that we have a beer that has hops, because 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, we talked about the Bunny Man, and he hops, kinda. That's not.
You know who else hops? The Van Meter visitor.
He does hop. He also climbs down poles like parrots. And that's one of my favorite images. Like, that will forever be in my head, is him climbing down a pole like a parrot.
Like Pamela Anderson.
What?
Climbing down a pole.
Oh. I don't know how we got there.
Sorry.
Corey's off his rocker today.
It's been a while.
We're gonna embrace it, but yeah, he's off his rocker today already. This is like our 12th intro we tried doing so far. Was the first one? I do have to say the first one was the best because he just goes and he gets to the part and then he just looks at the camera. He's like, "Hey, crackheads, I'm Corey. This is Mike," and just stares at the camera because he doesn't know what to say next. It's like, what? How's that the part you got stuck at?
I know.
At least you got her name. And then the second part was when you mixed up our cryptids, urban legends, and
yeah the order.
Right, we got there. Third time was a charm.
That's right. I told you I wasn't going to mess up again. I didn't.
You didn't. No breaks after this. So the reason I picked this beer is, one, I thought the name was kind of ironic because a headhunter seeks a head. Well, the Faceless Woman, she does have a head.
And she seeks a face.
But she has no face. So it's almost like a cruel cosmic joke for a headhunter to, like, get somebody, get their head, have the trophy, and it has no face.
Yeah.
You basically just got an egg.
It just throws that shit back in the woods.
Yeah. And also, I think it's kind of symbolic because the headhunter takes the identity with making the face part of the trophy, while the Faceless Woman just kind of erases that. So one claims power through recognition, while the other terrifies through the loss of recognition. Thought that was kind of interesting. So, Corey, should we get a sipperoo?
I just want to tell the people one thing real quick. This
God, he makes me so mad.
No, I'm just.
All right, here we go.
I'm not going too much into the can. I'm just reading the can. I want to tell the people that this beer has won all kinds of freaking awards.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to take my thunder for
No, it took the gold award in the World Beer Cup in 2023. It took what's the other one on here?
That's it.
American Beer Festival. 2023 gold in the American Beer Festival as well. So, I mean, it took 2 gold medals and two pretty big.
Yeah, in the American style IPA, which is like a pretty competitive style. This isn't like, well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. After the beer we had 2 weeks ago, I think the Great American Beer Festival lost a little bit of my respect because
it would be last week to the people. It'd be last week's.
That'd be 2 weeks ago. We were in Alaska last week.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Fuck. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Just cut that out.
No, it's staying. But yeah, they definitely lost me a little bit with their gluten-free beer that they gave the silver medal to, and that kind of sucked balls. But this redeemed it. This redeemed the award, I think. So, cheers with this bad boy.
Cheers, ski.
You scare me. You wind up the cheers sometimes.
I get too happy and too excited.
Freaks me out.
That's good.
Yeah, if you like IPAs, just do yourself a favor, and if you can buy this, go ahead. Go to your nearest distributor and buy Headhunter from Fathead Brewing Co. If you like IPAs, you are not going to be disappointed in this beer. It is, dare I say, delish.
And if you are disappointed, you can send them to us, and we'll finish them.
Yeah, we will be the martyr and fall on our sword, or the beer. So, Corey, with that,
let's go on to the episode.
Yeah, buckle up.
Buttercup.
All right, so before we get into this episode, I want to talk about a couple sources that I have. So the sources are the Journal of Rikuma.com, mysteriesofhawaii.com, which might sound weird, but we'll get there. Don't worry. Reddit, and fandom.com.
You gave me shit about fandom.
Because I know Corey likes fandom.
It's a good one.
And, my other source is Ranker. No, I'm just kidding. I threw that in for Corey.
I do like Ranker.
Ranker. I read so many Ranker articles without ever realizing it. So today, we are traveling to a place that we have yet to visit on the cast. We're going to cross the Pacific Ocean. Now, we have crossed the Atlantic a number of times. Talked about the Otter and Leap Castle in Ireland. The Lougarou in the Rougarou episode.
Yep.
Talked about the French vampires. And we actually have crossed the Pacific Ocean once before on this cast. Very early on, and it was just for a small story for the Let Me Out doll in the Phantom Dolls episodes.
Shit.
We're over in Australia.
Damn.
But we've never actually been in Asia, I don't think, at all yet.
We're stepping in it today, folks. Damn.
Folks. The Let Me Out doll is still one of my favorites.
That was funny.
Let me out. Let me out. But today we are entering the world of Japanese folklore. And I don't know about you, but I like Japanese folklore. I think is going to be fucking just insane.
Yeah.
Like they make crazy movies.
I just think of like Pokemon.
Pokemon, yep. I was thinking more like they're known for their like super graphic horror movies in Japan.
Yeah.
So like pretty much the opposite of what you were thinking.
Yeah, but Pokemon. They make all kinds of different Pokemon.
They do.
So how many different cryptids could they make?
You're right. You're right.
Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
Yeah, but they're like they're known for their just like insane horror movies over in Asia. So I feel like their folklore has to stem from a lot of that. So this is an eerie tale that over the years has actually crossed over into some American folklore, which makes sense that being on the West Coast, there's a lot of Asian culture that was brought over through immigration through the years. But in Japan, this legend has roots in Tokyo, and particularly there's a good chance I'm going to butcher these streets, so I apologize. I tried my best to like just instead of actually like typing them out, I like listened to them read them and spelled out how I thought they were being read.
Just be confident and you're right.
Akasaka Road. It'd probably be better if I don't hesitate when I say it. Asasaka Road. This road's known for having a pretty significant slope, and it has a moat on one side, and this moat on the other side. This moat is like this big, like beautiful garden, I guess they have there. So it's a moat on one side, and it's just a huge wall on the other. So it's a freaky street to walk down because you're kind of just there's nowhere to go. Like you can't climb this wall. You're not. It's a significant moat. It's not like a little. Yeah. So it's kind of freaky. So a lot of people try to avoid it. So this story takes place in 1906.
Of course.
So this is before, streetlights were pretty prevalent. Didn't really have many flashlights or options like that. So many locals would walk miles out of their way to avoid this stretch of road. It was pitch black, and the eeriness from the wall and the moat made you feel very contained, especially in the darkness at night. And on top of all of that, this was a known spot for the Maijinas lurked, which is essentially, so I'll get into that a little bit later, but that's
the Maijinas.
The Maijinas,
okay.
Yeah. So that's essentially a name for one of the names for the faceless. So, but on this night, after a particularly long day at work, a local merchant didn't really give a shit. He was exhausted from the day's work, and he just really wanted to get home. I feel like we've all been there. It's like, I don't care. I'm avoiding this traffic. I'm taking the shortest possible way. So he decided that he would brave Akasaka Road, which was also known as Kinokunizaka, which translates to the slope of the province of Kai.
So is this the same like area where the moat is and shit?
Yeah, this is all the same
It's
spot.
all the same spot?
The slope of the province of Kai is the spot where this moat and everything is.
Okay.
So you know how it is. I picture this dude just being like, screw this. I'm hungry. I'm exhausted. I'm sick of this shit. I'm just going home. I want to eat. I want to see my wife. I want to see my family. Yeah, we've all had those days. So as he started the walk, after a little while, he saw a woman over by the water, and she was crouched down and crying. And she had her back to him, and through the lantern that he was carrying as he approached, he could see that she was very well dressed. And she had this beautiful long hair. And back in this time of Japan, like long, beautiful, well manicured hair was a sign of wealth. And on top of that, the way she was dressed, this guy could tell that this woman came from money.
She didn't have that bird's nest, old, shitty smelling hair.
That's right. So he was debating on whether he should even go over and comfort her because, he's just a lonely merchant. But he said, you know what? I really should. Even though in the back of his mind, he knew the stories of this road.
Something's wrong with this broad.
He knows the stories of this. Like, this is a well-known spot where, like, shit goes down. People are scared. But at the moment, the girl started to lunge like she was going to jump into this moat, which, like I said, this moat, it's a pretty big drop-off, so it would pretty much be a suicide attempt for her to jump down this.
And I know you said, like, she had, like, this beautiful, nice hair. But for whatever reason, in my mind, I'm picturing, like, the girl from The Ring. But without a face.
Well, yeah, I can see it with the long black hair, I feel like, yeah.
But I know, like, her hair in the movie is kind of, like, all over the place. But, like, for whatever reason, in my mind, I'm picturing her but just like without a face. Which really in that movie you don't really see her face a lot of the time.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Because her hair
No,
is
that makes
covering
sense.
her
I feel like
face.
when you're thinking of like just long black hair. Yeah, I can see that.
That's what I'm picturing in my mind.
So once he saw that she was going to jump in, he ran over to try and comfort her. And this is when she stood up and started to remove her hands from her crying face. And he quickly realized that something was wrong because her face was smooth, described like an egg. So she had no eyes, no nose, no mouth, just like, it'd be freaking weird. Weird to just have somebody with absolutely no. So I remember there's a show called Grimm. And it's kind of like a modern tale of like the Brothers Grimm in a way.
Okay.
And this guy's it's a cool show. You'd probably like it. There's a lot of like there's cryptids and stuff like that in it. But basically he's a Grimm so he can see stuff that others can't. But long story short, the one person that he knows becomes a witch, and she's just like uber powerful witch. So they need to get a confession from this guy. So she puts her hand on his mouth and moves it away, and his mouth is gone so he can't talk. So then she puts her hands on his like eyes so he can't see either. And she does, so all he could do is basically just has his nose so he can like still breathe. But like that was like their form of torture to get him to talk because all your senses are gone. You have no idea what's going on around you. You have no idea like anything. Like imagine how quick you would crack if you had no senses.
So going off of that, like just kind of triggers a question in my mind that I think about sometimes. Like, would you rather be like deaf or blind?
Probably deaf.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would go with.
Yeah.
It's just something I think about sometimes.
Why?
Dude, you don't know half the shit I think about on a regular basis.
I know quite a bit. She'll just randomly text me this stuff, and sometimes I'm just like, man, this dude might need some therapy or something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. Or like, would you rather have like, if you had to like chop off one or the other, would you rather cut off your arms or cut off your legs?
Both?
You'd want to cut both of them off?
No, I mean I gotta cut both arms or both legs.
Either your arms or your legs. Which one would you rather gone?
Yeah, probably my legs. A lot of stuff's wheelchair accessible now.
Yeah, and you can still
wipe.
You know. Yeah, wipe. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
go ahead.
So from the sight of just this blank face, he took off running, and he ran as fast as he could all the way back up this slope in the direction he had come from. This was going to be much shorter than if he ran all the way, because I thought it was like weird the way he described it, because he ran where he just came from instead of just keep running home.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. Well, it kind of does make sense. One, it was shorter because he wasn't that far into his walk there. But the other thing is, if this freaking creepy ass thing's right behind you, you just want to lead it home to your wife and kids.
Hey, you're right. If something's chasing me, like I'm going to your house.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not answering, so it doesn't really matter. Or you're just going to be outside getting eaten alive. I'm just going to take pictures and post them on our Facebook.
As long as we get views, yo, I don't care.
But as he continued to run into the darkness, the slope just started like taking his toll on him. But because he's running uphill to get away, but he starts seeing this little tiny light. So he just puts his head down and he keeps running. He's like, I know if I get to this light, I'll be safe. If I get to this light, I'll be safe. So he finally gets there, and he's been running for what seems like miles. Who knows how far it actually was. But he finally gets up to this light, and it's a local peddler sitting on the curb taking a break. And the merchant just sprints towards him and just throws himself down on the ground by the man. The merchant was so exhausted, he had no more energy left to run at all. And the peddler just stared at him with this total look of confusion. It's like, where are you going in such a hurry? And all the merchant could get out was just the woman, scared face. The peddler just kept looking at him confused, asking like, were there robbers? Were there thieves? What was it? And he finally just screams out, she didn't have a face. And the peddler, just staring in shock, started rubbing his chin. And as he rubbed his chin, he just looked at him and said, like this.
No shit, dude.
As his face just started to fade away.
Oh, God, dude. I was thinking, like, this guy was just going to pull off his face.
Pull off his face. It just faded away.
That happens, if Charlotte Flair would spend too much time, like, at the beach or something, like, her face would melt off and she wouldn't have a face either.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. All plastic.
It's working for her dad yet.
Yeah, true.
He's part lizard. We'll get into him in a couple weeks when we talk about the lizard man. So as the guy's face faded, so did his lantern, and everything just went black.
It was a trap.
So this is the best-known story of the Faceless One. The story's from a book called, and again I'm going to get it wrong, Kawadon, Stories and Studies of Strange Things, often shorted to Kawadon, Ghost Stories.
So we don't know what happened to this guy after...
No, these are just, this all came out of a book that was basically just almost a book of urban legends and ghost stories from Japan, which would be a fun topic to read up on and just do an episode on it, but we don't read books.
I was going to say, you gonna get that and read it? Actually,
No.
Hey, let's do a check-in. Where you at with the...
Oh, same spot I was last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Men in Black book, folks, if you haven't listened to some of our other episodes.
I was debating whether to take it to work today to read it in my spare time. And then I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And I was right. I wouldn't have done that. Why would I do that when I can scroll through Facebook Reels?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is like a really known study, and I thought it was kind of interesting because, so there's several Japanese ghost stories and a brief nonfiction section on insects. That's what this book's about.
What?
So it was later used as the basis for the 1964 film by the same name. But now I'm going to dive into a little different thing. It's actually the same thing, but different. Follow me. It's weird.
I'm following.
So this is the Noppera-bō.
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 Noppera-bō. Got it.
Noppera-bō.
Noppera-bō.
You got it.
Boom.
So the first story, the one or more or less from the book, refers to this creature, ghost, spirit as Maijina, which actually translates to badger or raccoon dog. I guess all the chapters of this story were named after animals for whatever reason. But I'm going to refer to... So what do you think this is? What would you refer to it as? A spirit, a ghost, a creature? Like, I'm just going to I thought like a spirit would be the best
I would
thing.
think spirit.
Yeah.
That'd be my first.
That's kind of what I was just leaning towards.
Yeah, I would think like a spirit.
I think I think we can agree that the mimic is a type of like subcategory of a spirit.
Yeah.
I feel like this Noppera-bō is another subcategory of a spirit.
So that's the name of like this faceless.
Yeah, so when you actually dive into Japanese culture, the
Yeah.
Noppera-bō it's just weird because I think it's one of those things that kind of got like lost in translation.
I was going to ask you,
here.
what is that? That doesn't translate to anything for us?
I think it actually translates to like, let me look. I think it's like faceless is what it translates towards.
Yeah, faceless.
But this spirit has much deeper roots in Japanese folklore, the Noppera-bō, compared to because the Maijinas was only ever really referred to in the story, whereas like the other one goes back centuries and centuries, the Noppera-bō. Now this spirit is interesting because it's actually not like an evil spirit, but it's not a good spirit either. It reminded me a lot of a mimic or like a doppelganger because I don't know, like it never what's the mimic trying to do? Just scare you more or less. Like it's like a prankster spirit in a way, you know?
Yeah.
So the spirit loves to take the shape of humans, and a lot of times it will take the shape of a person that you might know, which I found very interesting. Because
so is it like I mean, you're gonna go into it, but like it takes the shape of like someone that you would know, but like is it just kind of like the Black-Eyed Kids, like the mimics, where it can't like do the whole thing, so like it just doesn't have a face?
No, this thing will do the whole thing. But it's almost like it gets off on like having the face fade away as you're looking at it.
So it's kind of like the Black-Eyed Kids.
Yeah,
right?
like it wants the fear from you. But I mean, this thing can nail the face. It can be a mimic for as long as it needs to be a mimic for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as when you read about it.
Because like I'm just kind of getting like the Black-Eyed Kids vibes, you know, how like everything about them looks like a normal kid, but then when you get to the face and get to the eyes, it's like it gives off that sense of fear where it's like, what the hell is this?
But it's like the peddler. There's nothing about the peddler that was scary at all to this guy. You know what I mean? He just looked like a normal guy just sitting there. And I don't know, it might have even been a peddler that he knew. See him. So it just, he threw himself down, and all of a sudden it's just like, Oh, if you think that's scary.
What do you think about this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like Large Marge on Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah. God damn, we brought her up that's like the 4th episode.
Dude,
I think
that's because that's in Pee-wee's Big Adventure is in my top 5 favorite movies.
I do like that movie.
Of all time.
Yeah.
My daughter likes to bust that movie out once in a while and watch it.
Yeah.
She likes to watch the newer Pee-wee on Netflix, but it's just not as good.
Is it a different Pee-wee? Like it's a different person?
No, it's the same Pee-wee.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant they did like.
No, it's like the newer one though. It's like it was made like.
That dude died, right? Like last year, 2 years ago.
This movie was made probably like 7 years ago or so.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. Like it's like, do you ever see Big Top Pee-wee?
I think so, yeah.
It's not the same. Like Pee-wee's Big Adventure is just the cream of the crop.
Hasn't been the same since he jerked off in the movie theater.
Oh man, Corey is just absolutely on one tonight. Absolutely on one. It ain't the same since he rode down that pole. Yeah. His wiener pole.
Yeah, Pam, you know what I'm talking about. Which pole?
But anyway, so I know we're referring to a lot about mimics, so if you don't know what a mimic is, hey, do yourself a favor and go back to episode 22, because we have a whole episode on mimics that Corey did. And they're kind of interesting as hell. But basically, if you don't want to do that, when we refer to mimics, think of like a doppelganger or mimicking a voice. The son of a bitch, on the other hand, will just stand in front of you.
Son of a bitch.
And as you're looking at it, it'll just be like, oh yeah, and its face will just be like,
it's just like transforming
into nothing. Dude, that's so much scarier to me, to just like that. It wants to look you right in the eye and watch you basically just shit your pants right in front of it. You know what I mean? But it doesn't do anything after that. It doesn't like chase you home. It doesn't try and kill you. Its face just starts melting away like Indiana Jones. I don't know if you ever saw those.
I've seen them when I was younger, but
yeah, like their Nazis just get their face melted off. Barf. So that's the Noppera-bō.
I kind of think of
Noppera-bō.
I think of you ever see like the original Spy Kids movie?
Oh yeah, Thumb Guys. Like
the Thumb Guys and like Floop, and how like the scientist dude has like that ball of clay or whatever.
Yeah, he can't do faces or whatever. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
faces are all messed up.
Yeah, so that's like what the whole time you've been saying this too. Like I've been just thinking of that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, that was actually. I feel like that was one of the first movies that we had on.
Where he didn't poo his pants on.
No, third. One of the first movies I think we had on like DVD.
I can remember the exact movie, the first movie I ever watched on DVD.
What was it?
Signs. M. Night Shyamalan.
I remember, so I can't remember if it was, like I said, Spy Kids, but I know that Cats and Dogs. That movie where they were like the spy, like the dogs were like the good spies, and then the cats were like bad or whatever. That was one of the first.
Dude, I couldn't get into any of those old kid spy movies like that. Like with animal. Remember, like there was one where there were baby spies. I don't know. I couldn't get into Baby Geniuses. Is that the name of the movie?
Okay, I don't know if I ever saw it.
I don't know. I started watching.
I like Cats and Dogs though. The second one, I like the second one better.
Damn,
my boys like that one.
He's freaking name dropping crazy awesome movies right now.
That's right, folks.
With like a whole thing of foam in his mustache. It's freaking me out. Get that out of there. Like a booger hanging there.
Saving that for later.
But with that, Corey, let's go to a beer break.
Beer break.
All right, Corey, we've been in Tokyo, Japan.
Where are we going now?
We're going to Hawaii.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're still in the Pacific, but we're going to Hawaii. Because right around the turn of the 20th century, there started to be a big influx of immigrants coming to the U.S., and many were Japanese.
And went to Hawaii.
Because it's closer. Naturally, it's a little bit closer than migrating to California or Washington or Oregon.
Hey, but we remember what happened back.
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it right there. I guess that many came to help with the sugar and pineapple harvest, and not, Corey, to destroy our planes in Pearl Harbor, to destroy all our fleet.
Son of a bitches.
And with the immigration of the people of Japan brought the folklore of Japan along for the ride, which I just think that's really cool how a lot, reminds me of like the Boo Hag, how that kind of traveled over on the ships with a lot of the slaves. I don't know. Stuff like that's cool. And I'm going to get to
like the Rougarou too, like that kind of traveled over from
exactly.
France.
Yeah. So I think, and the vampires in New Orleans, like all that kind of traveled from France too. I just think stuff like that's really cool. And I'm going to pose a question for you later about that we'll get into.
Okay. I was ready for it right now.
No. I mean, we can do it right now.
No, we'll do it later.
Okay.
Let me get some more beer in me.
Okay.
Better answer.
Yeah, that ought to be freaking good. I can only imagine what's going to happen.
I might take my pants off.
I can't even believe you still got them on at this point. So we got the immigration. So this is where the Noppera-bō, or Faceless Spirit, because I'm going to start referring to it as that because I just cannot hit this one. I don't know why. We're in America.
Americanize it.
So the Faceless Spirit made its landfall in the States. Now, with something like this, all right, so I'm getting into the question right here. I thought it was pretty soon. So, Chug, take a So this is something that there's always a part of me that wonders, is it just from these stories that this creature comes with, or is the spirit itself that comes along? Or is this thing conjured up because the belief is brought over to this land? Like, is this faceless spirit always here, just lurking, and we never knew it until we heard about it? Or was it conjured up once it made landfall? My theory is that it gets conjured up.
That's what I'm thinking. It was conjured up.
Like, I think the Boo Hag was conjured up through the slaves, and there was a lot of anger and hate, I'm sure, from the slaves down there with the Boo Hag and everything.
Because I feel like if we never knew about this, then never would have happened.
Right.
Like, we find out about it.
Well, there's no stories of this ever happening in Hawaii until this big immigration from Japan.
Yeah, so like they come over, they tell us about the tales, they get out their little fucking...
It's Ouija boards.
That's what I'm saying. They're fucking Ouija boards. They start chanting their little fucking... Oh, I'm cursing. I'm sorry. Chanting their little Japanese words, and...
Gosh. I don't even...
And then next thing you know, we got these faceless people.
And people's faces are falling off.
Yeah.
They're chanting stuff. Take your face off, take your face off, take your face off. They're doing it in Japanese, which I'm not going to do an impression of because don't, Corey.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
stop
not
it.
either. Cause
stop it.
I'm not about that life.
You're totally about that life, but I'm going to cut you off right there because it says here we need to work in teams. All right. What the hell was that?
I'm just ready for the next part.
All right. But anyways, there are two main places in Hawaii that this faceless ghost had been spotted. One was, and this is the big one, was at a drive-in movie theater.
What?
Yes. Now, I heard a lot of different times. I heard some in the 70s, 80s, some were even earlier than that.
See, it's, okay, so it goes back to my, original, I don't know what you want to say, theory, is, it's always the early 1900s, or it's always, 60s, 70s.
Yeah, but, dude, that's what,
What the fuck?
So I was kind of getting into my next episode, and that is, 98 or something like that is when that starts. And it kind of blew my mind a little bit. It's like, that just doesn't seem right at all.
Yeah, let's fact check that.
This should start in the 90s. Yeah. There's nothing right about it. Maybe it was, I can't remember, but it was definitely in the 90s because it just seemed so wrong that something would start in the 90s.
Well, it's most. We'll say most.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Because Black Eyed Kids was 90s too.
Yeah. Yeah, but that kind of Black Eyed Kids I feel like is different because it kind of brought in the internet age.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
So I just think that's that's just so different and just it's almost its own thing compared to cryptids and urban legends and stuff. That's the first internet urban legend.
Because I feel like Black Eyed Kids kind of led it with Slender Man and all of that stuff.
The Rake.
Yeah, the Rake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. All right, so back to the drive-in. So one evening, a young girl was walking into the bathroom when she noticed a woman with beautiful long hair. They always have this beautiful long hair, standing in front of the mirror. She was just sitting there brushing her hair because that's what people do at the drive-in, I think. No big deal. Maybe a little weird. But yeah, oh well. But as this girl got closer to the sink to wash her hands, she looked in the mirror, and that's when she saw that this girl had no face, and she described it as egg-like. Egg-like. That is what it would look like.
Yeah,
you think about it, it's the right shape and everything.
If she's a white.
If she's a white?
I guess I have brown eggs.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of eggs.
I don't know, dude.
I'm thinking of eggs, though.
I'm just going to stop you right there.
Yeah, all right.
You referred to her as a white.
Just white.
Yeah, but you put an in front of it. A white. All white. So when she saw this egg-like person, she screamed and ran as fast as she could out of the bathroom. Men ran in there to see what was going on, fear that it might be some kind of predator or just some, I don't know, pedophile waiting in the bathroom. But the bathroom was totally empty. The girl was taken to the hospital, and it was said that she had a lengthy stay at the hospital, and it was eventually moved to the psych ward.
I knew.
What'd you know?
That she was going to end up in a psych ward because I feel like they always do.
You just said like,
I know, because I was like, oh, another one. Another one.
Another one bites the dust. So a different girl, not long after this one, was in the same bathroom at a drive-in.
The same bathroom.
Well, yeah, I mean,
the same drive-in, the same bathroom.
Same bath. Yeah, this is like the place. This drive-in.
Okay.
Washing her hands when she looked in the mirror, and there behind her was a woman without a face, standing directly over her shoulder, and she actually said it had no legs.
What?
So basically, it's like Lieutenant Dan with no face back there, just you ain't got no legs.
So here's the thing, folks. If you go to the drive-in, you go to the bathroom, don't wash your hands.
Yeah, just pee by your car like a decent human being does.
Pee by your car or just
in a bottle. Hold it. I don't know, do anything.
Just wipe. Don't look anywhere else and just leave.
Yeah, stare straight ahead.
Yeah.
So she screamed and turned around only to see that the bathroom was completely empty as she was running out.
Damn.
So years later, this drive-in was bought out and torn down and replaced by storage units and housing.
Oh, great.
But people have said that they still see the Faceless Woman walking around the area where the bathroom was. And there's even been reports of a mall that is right near where the old drive-in was, where it's said that the faceless spirit still haunts the bathroom.
Of the mall?
Of the mall.
Son of a bitch.
Dude, I love malls.
I like malls too.
I love malls.
Malls are endangered, folks.
You're right, they are.
Save our malls.
Yeah, dude. My wife, she used to always get on me because I just want to go walk around a mall.
It's fun.
Malls are the best.
Yeah, it gives you this nice, like, feel-good sensation inside.
Which reminds us, we're going to be at the Bigfoot and Cryptid Festival of Central Pennsylvania at the Susquehanna Valley Mall.
That's right.
In August.
Hashtag save
8th?
the malls. 9th.
I went right around it. Damn. I'll be there Friday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag save the malls, folks. Come on. Get with it. But why the bathrooms? Many believe that this is the best place to visit someone and almost be guaranteed that that person will be alone.
Unless you're a woman, though.
They do, but these two women were alone. That's all it. Because in almost every story you read, and it makes sense at a drive-in, because a lot of times back then, drive-in, they went on dates.
Went parking.
So, yes, wasn't double dates. Went parking.
At the drive-in.
They didn't want to be up there in Lover's Lane because the hook man would have get them.
So they're like, we're going to do some parking at the drive-in.
Yeah.
And the Faceless Woman got them.
Yep. So, but this, because in almost every story you read, the spirit wants to be alone when it visits somebody, though. There's no stories where it visits, like, a group of people. It's always basically by itself.
That's why it's hard to believe, you know?
It is.
It's hard to believe when you got, like, just one person coming out with different things, whereas if it was a group, it's like, has a little more credibility, you know?
It's true, yeah. Much like I think with most urban legends.
Yeah.
Like I think even when you look at the hook man, like yeah, it's a couple, but that's usually it's just two people, you know, that are I don't know, in a relationship. So there would be some reason to lie. If I got caught parking, I would blame it on a hook man.
Hell yeah.
I'd say he's gonna stick that hook right in my bunghole if I didn't park here. All right. So why is the drive-in such a hot spot? Well, it's actually built right up with a cemetery. Damn it. Walked into that one, didn't I? It was actually built right up to a cemetery, which many believe gave the spirit the energy it needed to conjure up. So now there's a second story in Hawaii, and I find this a lot scarier because it takes place at an elementary school.
Is this in the same area as this drive-in? Do you know?
Don't know how close it is to the drive-in, but it's in Hawaii still. We're still in. I mean, Hawaii's only so big, right?
Yeah, a couple islands and shit.
We'll say
Could be on a different island. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll look that up later.
Yeah. Or we probably won't.
Probably won't.
Yeah.
No, I don't give a shit.
Now, the second story I find scarier because it's at an elementary school.
Ooh.
There isn't a lot of information on the story, but I read like a newspaper article. But basically, it was the kids had been seeing a faceless man and woman walking around the school. Now, the teachers never saw it, but there were multiple kids that had seen this ghost. The kids were getting to the point where they were scared to go to school, which prompted the parents to start questioning what was going to be done about it. And the principal basically came back with, the kids are full of shit, and I wish the parents wouldn't indulge in this kind of thing. From the info I could gather, after all this, the sighting stopped. So more than likely it was the kids starting a story, and you can imagine if they heard this story from the drive-in, especially elementary school kids, one kid tells them, and they just get scared, and they build.
As a principal, like,
what do you do?
What do you do? Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, exactly. And you know how it is with kids? Like, the kids might have actually thought they were seeing something because they just had themselves so worked up over this, like, story that, I don't know, Billy Bob told them on the bus. So there are a lot of other stories, but for the most part, these are the stories, like the 3 stories, the one in Japan, the 2 in Hawaii, that cover the most with the spirit. But I have one other thing for you, Corey. One other thing. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? This.
Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready.
Let's head to Reddit.
Oh, Reddit.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't
been a while, old friend.
Let's head to Reddit. All right, so we're finally back. We're heading to Reddit, but Corey, I have bad news.
You have a question?
No, I don't have a question. I said I have bad news.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess I do have a question for you. So this username isn't available anymore. I guess they deleted their...
Is it deleted name?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Corey, what is this guy's name?
This guy's name
I had Francis picked out, but I think...
Dude, I was going to say Fred.
It's freaking Francis.
Francis.
Francis, I don't know. Francis just like seemed right.
All right, we'll go with Fred Francis 69.
Fred Francis 69. From Reddit user Fred Francis 69. Titled, The Faceless Man. So, you know, I don't know how much you listened to Believing the Bizarre, but they do episodes where they do like the fan mail.
Yeah.
And if you want to be like anonymous or whatever, they call you Sophia. That's what they refer to you as. Well, I guess that started. I was listening to one today. I never realized how it started. But basically somebody like emailed their story in. And it's like, hey, I don't want my name to be used, but you can just call me Sophia. So that's how they've just carried that. That was like in like 2021. They've just carried that over for 4 years, just using Sophia. Thought that was pretty good. So Freddie Francis might be her. Freddie franchise, baby.
I just said Fred.
Fred Francis, the first. And then everybody after that will just add a number to the end of it.
Yeah.
So this Reddit article is titled, The Faceless Man. And there's a lot of really good Reddit stuff for faceless
stuff, really.
But a lot of them were like long as shit. I don't want to get one that was too long, so I tried to get this one was pretty good though. I think about this a couple times a year, and I've looked it up, but never find anything similar. This happened a few years ago. One night, my now wife and I were driving back from Sonic. We lived in a very old, very small town in West Texas. It was raining, but not heavily. Puddles on the ground, wet enough that it would be weird for someone to be walking around. On top of that, there were lots of roads with little to no lighting, so lots of the roads were mostly dark at night. We were driving down one such road when this happened. As my wife and I were driving, I looked to my right and saw what I can only describe as a faceless man. Not deformed, but faceless. His face was white, or really, all of him looked really white. He looked almost like a blur. His arms seemed impossibly long, almost down to the ground, and they were moving in an unnatural way. Arms swinging back and forth aimlessly, but also very fast. The best I can describe it was this man's movements is that he looked like he was glitching.
Ooh.
We weren't moving fast, probably 25 miles per hour, because we were in a residential area. I looked at him long enough that I had time to wonder what I was looking at, before he went out of my view. For a second, I even wondered if someone was using a weed whacker or doing yard work, which I guess because it would like distort them in a way. I don't know. But of course not. It was 9 p.m. at night and raining. I said nothing to my wife, assuming my eyes had just played a trick on me. It was dark. Maybe the rain blurred the window. I didn't know. A couple hours later, my wife asked me if I noticed the man on the side of the road that had no face. Still the creepiest thing that ever happened to me. So that's just like a quick Reddit story. I don't know. It makes sense. This thing seems like it really just wants to freak people out.
Yeah.
Like wants to get that like quick fear, adrenaline rush.
So is that like the same thing you think like with the Black Eyed Kids? Like I know that was one thing we talked about with them. You think it's the same like kind of fear factor type thing?
I don't know. The more I think of the Black Eyed Kids, and we talked about that one story in Vermont with them.
With like the Men in Black?
Yeah, I think there's some kind of like government experiment in a way.
Yeah.
That are like used for something, but I just don't know what. When the Men in Black start getting involved, I'm just not totally sure what's going on.
Yeah.
But I like it. Man, I want them to knock on my door. My wife said the other day, I was just like, man, how cool would it be if we did an episode and the Men in Black knocked on our door? She goes, that wouldn't be cool at all. It's like, the hell it wouldn't. That'd be freaking sweet.
She'd be ending this podcast.
Yes. That'd be freaking sweet.
That'd be our last episode, folks.
Yeah. They ain't knocking on my door.
Yeah, he'll slam on my door.
Yeah, freaking open that door with nothing but my freaking dingleberries hanging out.
He'll be like, the studio ain't here.
Yeah.
The studio's over at Corey's
Here,
house.
I give you his address.
Yeah.
Show me your map. I'll tell you where it is. And they're like, oh, sir, we already know.
Yeah. We have two guys already there right now.
They are ready to rock and roll. So, Corey, we got theories for these things. And there's definitely a theory that I think with it, but we'll get into them. Well, what do you think for a theory? Time and Corey with a sundial right now.
I gotta really dig back here, folks. I'm like torn between just like complete bullshit and just.
But I think complete bullshit could be anything. Though.
It could. You're right. So I'm gonna, cause like I'm thinking like with that first main story, with like the dude that ran up the hill or whatever, and saw that biker and his fate. Like I think that story just stuck in so many people's minds that
he's a peddler, not a biker.
Oh yeah, you're right. Peddler.
It's like a biker. I was thinking, oh, peddler.
Yeah.
I was thinking of pedals.
I think.
I don't know why that's such an awesome thing to me. It's like peddler.
Peddler. Oh, I'm sorry. He was a peddler. I think that story just stuck in a lot of people's minds. And I don't know where I was going to go with this after that, because Mike really fucked me up when he said peddler after I was saying biker. So I think it's more or less just like a word of mouth type of thing. People got freaked out. People are looking out their windows, and maybe just like the perception of the person that is standing there or whatever they're doing just makes it seem like they have no face. And then they just kind of freak out and relate their experience based off of like the other shit that they've heard. So I think it's either that or I think it's some type of like paranormal entity.
All right.
What do you think there, dickhead?
I don't know. I'm not even sure what you thought after that explanation. I'm so confused. Freaking Corey thought it was a biker. All right. Pooh. All right. My biggest thing is I think it was a trickster.
Trickster spirit.
Yeah, trickster spirit. So we talked about him a little bit. I think we talked about him in the Mimics episode a little bit.
Yeah.
Scares people what doesn't want to hurt them and just kind of gets off on the scares. And that's why this thing just had big time trickster vibes to me.
I can see that. Or what if it was like Monsters, Inc., where they have like the scare factory, then they turn into Laugh Factory. Like what if it's like the the trickster.
The Faceless Factory.
Faceless Factory. And that's how they energize their motherfucking
Could be. Well, it
city.
could just be like that monster that pops all his eyeballs in. Maybe he just forgot to do it that day.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. That's my final theory.
All right. They're getting better and better.
That's right.
Other theories are symbols of identity loss. The blank face might represent the loss of self or identity, especially in a highly conformist society like Japan is. In crowded cities like Tokyo, everyone starts to feel like they're just another face in the crowd. Grief and ghostly echoes. The blank face could be interpreted as a soul that's lost its identity through trauma or tragedy, stuck wondering with no sense of self. This puts the spirit in the realm of yori, restless spirits bound by intense emotion or unfinished business. It's a spirit so broken by loss that it no longer even has a face.
Damn.
Which that's deep.
Lost face.
That makes me sad a little bit.
Yeah.
Reflection of the viewer, a more psychological take. The faceless spirit might be a mirror reflecting back the fears or emptiness inside the person who sees it. Some stories describe the ghost appearing familiar before its face disappears, suggesting that it was someone you knew or even yourself. It's a personalized horror, showing you a blank version of yourself or your relationships. Also, for the drive-in, I believe that in that story, if someone did see something, it was just embellished, because I read somewhere that after this, for the next few years, that drive-in was so packed, you would have to wait your turn. You would get turned away at the door because there was just filled up to the max, so it could have just been a huge publicity stunt. So I wanted to read, have you ever heard the story of the slit-mouthed woman? So this was also a Japanese thing.
I mean, maybe I heard about I don't know based off the title. Okay. I can't picture anything, but maybe once you start reading it, maybe I've heard some of it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I think it's the closest thing to the Faceless Woman. It's almost like a more modern version of it. So I just have a quick story here. One night a man walked home through the quiet streets of Nagaya. He noticed a woman standing ahead of him. She was beautiful, with long dark hair, but what caught his eyes was the surgical mask she wore. Something about her stillness felt off. As he approached, she turned to him and asked softly, "Am I beautiful?" He hesitated, unnerved by the question. Wanting to be polite, he answered, "Yes, you're beautiful." Without warning, the woman pulled off her mask, revealing a horrific sight. Her mouth was slashed from ear to ear, creating a wide, permanent grin. It looked unnatural, like something no human would have. She tilted her head and asked again, "How about now? Am I beautiful?" Frozen in fear, he couldn't respond. He wanted to run, but his legs wouldn't move. She smiled wider, and her eyes glinted with malice. "If you don't think I'm beautiful, I'll make sure you regret it." And before he could react, she lunged at him, but it was too late. Her curse was already upon him. So I believe that this could almost be the same tale, but just crafted with more fear to catch up with the modern times.
Was this during COVID?
This was not during COVID.
I just thought
No, Asians wear medical masks for years before COVID.
I know, but our American, our dumb fat American minds, COVID, when we hear masks, I think of COVID.
Yeah, but she's in Nagayo.
I don't know where the fuck Nagayo is.
That's in Japan.
Okay.
Dude, you're going to start paying quarters for every F-bomb you drop this episode.
Yeah, you have to cut some of them out.
No way.
Keep half of them.
Free beer for me with your quarters.
I don't know where Nagayo is. Japan. Got it.
Yeah, Japan. I don't know. I think so.
He's the presenter.
But yeah, so the story basically goes, and diving into the folklore of it, that she was very vain, very beautiful, and she had a husband that she cheated on. So what he did in return was, before he killed her, he gave her the smile, the Joker smile from, ear to ear, essentially. And that's where the story came from. But I thought it did strike me as very similar to the faceless person.
Yeah.
But with that,
I want to hit us with it.
Go ahead, hit it.
And with that,
it's just not.
No,
I'm just
good.
kidding. That's a good one.
That's pretty good, you son of a bitch.
We got the folklore score. Let's go.
Here we go. All right, we're back with the folklore score.
Oh, sorry.
And if you look at our board here, we got Krampus at number 1, sitting at 74. All the way down to number 10, Boo Hag, sitting at 60.
Oh, man, we need to get her out of here, dude.
So we need to get at least a 61 to bump that bitch off the board.
Dude, if we get a 60, we still might bump her.
We're still bumping her.
Yeah.
She's been on there for too long.
Yeah.
You're right. We get a 60, she gone.
She gone. Is she going to get a 60?
Hell no.
No, it's not. It's probably not going to happen.
No.
So, Corey, what do you got?
I got a 19.
I got a 27. So I went higher with it.
Yeah.
Corey just stares at me like he messed up bad. Like, oh no, what did I do?
No, I thought you messed up.
No, I didn't mess up. No way.
I didn't mess up. My shit's like
No way.
accurate.
Spookiness, what'd you give it, Corey?
Spookiness, I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 7. Because I don't know. It was
gave it a-
spooky.
Yeah. I mean, I gave it a 4. Gives a slight chill. If I see a person with no face, like, yeah, I'm getting a slight chill, but like I've never had that happen, so
Yeah. All right.
so it's pretty low on my radar.
Historical and cultural significance. I gave it a 9 because it was so deeply rooted with the Japanese culture and stuff.
I gave it a 3.
Damn.
I gave it a 3 just because it was like only this specific little tiny area of Japan.
And Hawaii.
And a little
Parts of California and parts of Washington State.
a little part of some stupid island in Hawaii
Yeah.
about being in some school bathroom.
It was a drive-in bathroom, and it was just a school.
Yeah, so a 3.
This is the Corey. Oh, man.
All right, go ahead.
Believability, I gave it a
Believability, you
3.
son of a bitch. I gave it a 4.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you're getting closer
there
to the
you
right
go.
level.
I gave it a 4.
Uniqueness, I gave it a 6.
I gave it a 7.
Well, there you go. You're starting to get better scores. Threat level of 2.
1.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
not threatening.
no
It just wants
threat.
to scare the poop out of you a little bit.
So, all right. So, folks, in the beginning, Mike was high, I was low, and then we started.
We always get close eventually.
Yeah, then we kissed. I know. I always got to tell Mike, like, hey, man, lay off.
This is just redonkulous going on today. What's happening here? What happened to us?
I don't know. I did some yard work today and drank some beers.
That's what it is. It's exactly what it is. Corey's been home all day with a newborn baby,
Yeah.
and he's just going crazy.
Yeah. That's right. So, what do we got? What did you have?
I did 27.
So, what's that equal?
The first 40.
You son of a bitch.
Should be a 46. Bum, 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 bum. And if you don't know how any of the folklore score works, I don't know, go to one of our like 38 other episodes. I'm so sick of explaining it every episode.
That's what we need. We need a plug-in.
We do need a plug-in, but we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Or lost plugins got lost on when my computer just exploded. So I'm still trying to recover music and stuff. It's just a bad day to be Mike.
It's a bad day to be a stupid Mike.
But with that,
Yeah.
I'm Crack Daddy Mike, and I'm out of here.
And I'm Corey.
BK Corey, right?
I didn't want to throw the BK that time.
Well, you're BK Corey.
All right.
He's the butt crack Corey
I'm the BK Corey.
with no E, and he's out of here.
With the fucking E. Oh, that's another. I give you a quarter.
Yeah. I'm going to stop at the bar on the way home and drink like 6 pints on Corey. All the quarters he owes me.
And with that,
I'm out of here. Follow us on socials. See ya. Corey Stupid.
Mike's so dumb.
Corey Stupid.
Dumbest dumb.